I'm privileged to have joining us tonight a group of very courageous parents who've charted this course firsthand, and they know all too well the importance and the fragility of those first few months of life for their child.
For me, it was such an unexpected journey. There was no form of screening or anything initiated at the beginning. There was no form of, there's no talk about it. Nothing was suspected as I had such a simple and smooth pregnancy. 6 months onwards, I noticed that he wasn't able to sit upright on his bottom with his legs up straight like most kids would. And I'd have, so many people say, oh, don't worry, they take their own time. They do it, when they're ready. It got to 9 months. He still wasn't able to sit up straight. When I went for his 12-month injection, vaccinations, my pediatrician at the time, very abruptly, within 5 minutes of movement analysis, he said, I think he's got CP. Just threw the words out there. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt anger and I was in disbelief, and I just didn't understand it. It wasn't the world that I had ever thought that he would be in. I actually had no knowledge of CP at that time.
Annika back in 2016, so she's nearly 5 now. And when she was, first born, everything, that first day and a half, everything perfectly normal as far as we knew to be normal. And then really, really bad seizures, which resulted in her being rushed to the NICU. She couldn't breathe. There was a whole bunch of things that happened. And as it turned out, once they'd done some investigations, Annika had a stroke, which was quite devastating. We didn't know that could happen to a baby. And so part of going through all of that diagnostic and whatnot was the whole question around what does this mean for her, and what does this mean for her life, in 5 years, in 10 years.
I had a gut feeling from day one that there was something just not quite right. We were told all along the way that she was a slow starter, that we just had to wait and see. For 9 months, my husband and I spent our time not enjoying our baby, but just trying to find out what was wrong with our baby. And it was such a wasted 9 months for her, because that window of opportunity that we talk about was lost for her.
He was about to celebrate his first birthday. By then, he wasn't walking. He wasn't even up cruising as yet, and it was very alarming for me. And that 6 months was really distressing, but I still had everyone in my ear saying, don't worry, they take their time. It happens when it's meant to.
I can't believe that there are so many of our kids that slip through the cracks because they don't get that opportunity. So for us, we are incredibly, incredibly thankful.
And it's so important for our future, because that would have saved me, it would have given me a peace of mind.
I guess I wasn't really a wait and see type of person. And I really knew from the night Grace was born that it would be a different journey. I certainly, really my wish is that families don't have to go on those sorts of journeys, because there is, we really did miss those early years. I really feel that we lost those critical early, really early days and weeks and months. It's not, it's not years. It's and as soon as you dust yourself off and get on with it. I think that the earlier the parents know and can be supported in the early stages of this journey, my message is the earlier the better.
Sure that our kids aren't falling through the cracks. Every single child deserves at least to have had that chance to get through that door in those very early weeks and months, not 12 months, not 18 months, not 2 years, as in some cases, you know, I've heard families say they haven't been able to get help.
She's our beautiful girl, but 9 months was lost because there was no such thing as screening for these babies. It was just a matter of, you know, a mother seeking out, you know, answers.
Annika had screening done within the first few days of her life, and that sort of set then the the path for what happened for us going on from there. I really do think that early start for her has meant the world. You know, we went from having a little girl who had no idea that she had right-hand side of her body. We would have to sort of pick up her arm and shake it in front of her and, you know, get her to look at it, and before she would realise that it was there, to now a little girl who has worked very hard over the last 4.5 years, and she is able to do just about everything that a kid her age should be doing. That early intervention, as far as I'm concerned, has set her up for, you know, for a life that she should have.
Duty of care to help create a better future for our children, and we need to use science and education and medicine to, I guess, to prevent any misleading diagnosis, you know, to have better understanding, to have early intervention.
I know that we should, as a standard, have the ability for every single child to be screened. Let's focus on getting to all those kids that absolutely will need it. Let's give them the chance that Annika has had.
I remember the first time I heard, actually, it was Dr. Kathy Morgan speak in the boardroom at Cerebral Palsy Alliance about this early movement screening. I broke into tears because I just felt so many kids lost opportunities. So that's why I feel it is really important that this campaign, you know, gets legs and we all get behind it.
I think it's the most fantastic idea I've ever heard, and absolutely every baby in Australia born needs to have this screening.